guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. It's from a guy, sounds like he's about 29, 30 years old. He's from the Philippines, and he's sharing his story about events that happened probably about 7 or 8 years ago with a first really serious girlfriend. You're going to see in the story, guys, how he eventually up and abandoned her literally while she was away at work when he found proof that she was cheating on him. I'm talking clearing out the apartment and getting out of Dodge. Very entertaining. But before I get to that point of the story, you're going to see how she pulled all the typical crap that liars and cheaters pull over here. And I thought it'd be a really good one to show you guys that, as I say, the stuff I talk about on this channel, it isn't just for people in the West or living in the US of A. It's for the whole world. Because at the end of the day, human nature is human nature. I don't care where you live on this crazy planet, what your culture is, religion. Men are men, women are women. We all do the same fucking things. Okay, that we all do in our gender. And oh no, I said gender. And let me very good one to show you the same type of crap. Why all guys should know this material. All guys should be familiar with these types of stories, to know to look out for red flags, to trust your gut, to stand up for yourself, to cut people out of your life, etc., etc. And again, same situation here. And you're also going to see in this story, this guy, when he describes himself, is kind of like he was kind of a Chad, a Filipino Chad, if you will. And the girls really liked him. He had no problem getting girls, but even the Chads sometimes can find that one girl that they fall for and can pull that type of crap that the gals do on them. So it's so important that even the Chads watch this because it could happen to them. So that'll be a good one here to cover, and I like covering stories from around the world to show, A, my point that this affects everybody, but also it's cool to hear from dudes all over the freaking planet. Now, also, bear with me because English is not his first language, but he did a pretty good job. I do definitely some editing in this story. So it says here, hey there, SSM. I've been a fan of your channel for a while now. I love the stories that you cover, especially the revenge stories. Call me an a-hole, but I love hearing that when the girls beg after they were caught cheating. Well, those stories tend to do well. It was when I saw your story that you titled, I ditched my girlfriend after finding out she was cheating. 10 years later, she's cheating. She's still chasing me. That motivated me to write my story. Like in that story, my story takes place in Asia. So forgive me for the wrong grammar and punctuation. English is not my first language. Now, a bit of background about me. I'm from the Philippines ever since I was a kid. I don't have any trouble getting chicks, mainly because I look British and have blue eyes. Almost all people I encounter always ask me if I'm a foreigner, and I always reply with no in our language. I was born and raised in the Philippines, with both of my parents are pure Filipino, but my grandfather on my mother's side is part British, so maybe that's where I get my looks from. Well, then they're not. Then your mom technically is not pure Filipino, but that's obviously where you get that. And obviously over there, they like guys that are white because they're going to assume that, hey, they got money, and the gals can think they can take me, give me a better life. That's the reality from what I've heard. Anyway, I'm considered rare here because of my eyes and looks, and since I grew up with the same culture, most of the girls I've encountered thirst for me. I know I might sound like I'm boasting, but that's really what happened. No, I don't take you as boasting. At least I don't. You're just letting us know the situation. Girls like you. Okay. One of the reasons I wrote this is to warn all the passport bros out there who are thinking that Philippines is the best place to go. He says, sure, the feminist movement isn't rampant here. Open relationship is still a taboo. Cheating is frowned upon. And most of the girls are still traditional. Here is actually the opposite. Men cheat more. But the poison made its way here. Hookup culture is slowly becoming the norm, and feminist movement is on the rise. Yeah, that's the other reason I'm doing this story, guys, to show you that it's not from a local. He's pointing out feminism is on the rise over there, and a lot of the ugly things have come from Western culture. So be aware of that when you think, well, I'm going to go to another part of the world, Eastern Europe or Southeast Asia, to get my dream girl. Well, be careful. Now, he has a beginning part to this story, which honestly isn't relevant to the main story, so I'm just going to skip over that, no offense, bro, and get on to the main thing. So, the main thing starts saying, this all happened way back in 2016. I was dating this girl we'll call F. We were childhood friends back then, and we got separated because her family moved to a different province. We reunited around 2012. Both of us are in our second year of college. And he says here, when I was We accidentally bumped into each other when I was eating at McDonald's. I was minding my own business when F suddenly greeted me and initiated the conversation. She was gorgeous. If the gal in the previous story, which he mentioned I didn't read, was a 7, this gal was a 10. F always looked reserved and doesn't wear revealing clothing. So we catch up with each other and learn that our university are close to each other. From that point on, we always hung out in the McDonald's whenever we have free time. Well, if she keeps eating McDonald's, she's going to lose her looks real quick. Months into that, F asked to be exclusive. She knows that I'm a chick magnet and said to her that if she's the jealous type of girl, then I wouldn't bother. She said she's not insecure, that some girl would flirt with me, and she knows that since I look like I'm Western, that would naturally attract a lot of girls' attention. I didn't see any problem with that, so I agree. Whenever we both had free time, we'd either go to her dorm or my dorm and have a lot of fun time. We were mating like rabbits, and we even had a pregnancy scare, but we were scared at the time because we were still in our teens and still in college, but thankfully it was a false alarm. This is why I always tell you, wear protection and dispose of your protection. 3 years into our relationship, we both graduated college in 2015, and we were around 21 years old at the time, and started planning for the future. We both decided to rent an apartment and live together. Since I'm the one who got the job first, we both decided to put the lease in my name. So keep in mind, at this time, they're like 21 years old, okay? They're kids. Yes, in some places that's considered to be definitely an adult. Well, in reality, they're kids. And you're going to see, guys, there are things in this story he does that definitely match up with being young. However, he's obviously learned, so I'll give him a pass on some of the things. So they move in together, which is, in my opinion, a bad move. Unless you plan on marrying the girl. I know you've been dating her for a few years now, but there's no point unless you're going to marry her. That's like the final test to see what she's really like, if indeed you're going to marry her, and you know my opinion about marriage. And watch what happens, guys. Watch the stereotypes unfold. So we move in together, and everything is great. We still hook up like crazy, and she's doing most of the household chores in our apartment because most of the time she is alone in the apartment since she was still job hunting. Fast forward to January 2016, and she got a job in a government office. We were both happy about it. For the first 2 months, nothing really changed. I drop her in front of the employee's entrance and pick her up there, and we're still having you-know-what almost every day, but at the 3rd month, since F started working there, she started to message me that she'll be late, and don't wait up for her in front of the office where I usually pick her up. So, things are changing. All of a sudden, she's working later. Now watch this with the bedroom activities. I thought nothing of it. Maybe she got a big job, and then she'd come home later than usual, around 10 p.m. Usually she's around home 6 or 7. But that night, after she finished taking a shower, I initiated some bedroom action, only to be turned down, saying that she's tired, and silly me, she thought she was really tired, so I didn't bother her. No government job is going to keep anybody there at 10 o'clock at night. Unless she's working for, like, if this is the United States, she's working, with the cops or the FBI or something like that. Government jobs are pretty much 9 to 5. But she's staying really late all of a sudden, and she comes home to rush to the shower and not interested in bedroom action. These are all signs something's going on. And again, keep in mind, she's like 21, maybe 22 years old at this point. She's in her prime, and you said she's a hottie. The next day, the same thing happened. Came home late, got turned down because she's tired, me trying to be the understanding person. That I let it slide. 1 month has passed, and we haven't had bedroom action ever since the first night. So you went from hooking up left and right, mating like rabbits, mating like Catholic rabbits, to all of a sudden, whoosh, nothing. Bro, what the hell are you living with her for? What the hell is the point of a relationship if it's not a romantic relationship? You become freaking roommates. If she ain't getting it from you, she's getting it someplace else. This is what happens. The stereotype, this is an extreme example. Moving with your girl, thinking everything's going to be great and magical and the SEX all the time, and it slows down. That's what happens normally, but not a complete embargo. This should have been where you were starting laying down the law instead of being the understanding, nice guy boyfriend. Now look, if we're not hooking up, we're not in a romantic relationship, and it's time for us to part ways. I was upset and let her know my thoughts about it, and she said she was sorry, that she's just so focused on her job and will try to do better. So that night she came home late, but we had bedroom action, and it goes on for about a week before she started gradually to die down again. I talked to her about it, and this time I said that if she really wanted to focus on her job, I'm not stopping her, and then I said it's best that we should break up. Good, that's what you should have done. Then she started crying, and she says she can't live without me. She'll try to do better. Stupid me. I take her back. Again, this time she came home earlier, around 8 p.m. Not the same time when she first started the job, but earlier than usual when she was coming home at 10. And the bedroom action becomes normal once again. The bedroom action became normal because she realizes, oh shit, I better start making this guy happy, my boyfriend here, otherwise he's going to kick me to the curb. Remember, the apartment's in his name. He's obviously paying the most of the bills. But obviously something's going on. But this guy was young, didn't know any better, and so this is what we have. If this happened to him now, he would have kicked her to the curb a long time ago. The red flags are there, guys. I thought everything is going back to how it used to be. Oh boy, I was wrong. The 8 p.m. coming home and bedroom action lasted for only 2 months. Like in the past, it didn't happen suddenly. It was gradual. First she came home at 8:30 p.m., then 9, and then back at 10. And again, and the bedroom actions also died down. Again, no government job is going to keep their employees that late. That's bullshit. At this point, I'm sick of it and never wanted to argue. Looking back now, this should have been my cue to get out of there. So I started focusing on my hobbies. I bought a big bike, tuned up my old car to make it a sleeper car. I started taking boxing classes and bought a gaming laptop. From this point on, we were like roommates, with me paying the bills and F buying the food and doing all the household chores. And we see each other whenever we were going to bed. So this is all happening for about 3 months. Should have ended, bro. I know this. You were younger and you didn't know any better, but still. And as you described, you were a good-looking guy. Girls liked you, so you could have replaced her like that. The bedroom action died a long time ago. I stopped showing affection to her. Funny thing is, when I was busy gaming, she sometimes made side comments on how games took up most of my time. I just shrugged it off and continued playing. Oh yeah, how about you staying out, coming home from work at 10 o'clock at night, taking up your time? Girls hate guys playing video games. It drives them fucking crazy. And I can get it to a point. There's a point, it's like, there's better things to do with your time. But I know got a lot of gamers out there, and I'm 45, and fine, it is what it is. But women hate video games. Then it was October 2016. Our anniversary is coming up. She's still my girlfriend, so I bought the food that she likes and a bag as a gift. It's not a branded bag, but it's cheap. But it's not cheap either. I usually come home early, around 6 p.m., so I arranged the kitchen, placed all the food and the gifts there, and I waited for F to come home. Stupid me thought that she would come home earlier because it was our anniversary. Clearly, she doesn't give a shit. I was waiting for her until it was around 9 p.m., and when I got tired of it, I went to the bedroom to play a video game, and as usual, she comes home around 10 p.m. When I heard the front door open, I stand up to greet her, but she says it's been a long day, and she's tired and goes straight to the bedroom. Yeah, a long day of servicing somebody else. Since the kitchen is further back, she didn't even see all the food that I prepared. It hurt me that time. I tried to give a little bit of effort, at least on our anniversary, only to get ignored. And when she closed the bedroom door, I called up my cousins who are near my place and asked them to get the food. I got the gift, put it somewhere that F wouldn't see it, which is in my car, and I went back to bed and pretended like nothing happened. Dude, you shouldn't have let that go. You should have freaking called her on it. But what you should more importantly have done is been out of there. I know you know this now, but good Lord, man. The next day, she woke up saying she's so sorry that she forgot that it was our anniversary. Yeah, I can tell through her actions she's so sorry. F said she only remembered when she woke up and saw an alert on her phone that it was our anniversary yesterday. I got up and said, no problem, then went on to work. Smack. No, you should have confronted her on that. I should have smacked you 10 times before, but I'm not in a smacking kind of mood today. I stopped by my cousin's house to give him the bag, saying I don't need any more, and he said he'd give it to his wife. November came, and I planned a 4-day vacation for myself. A long ride with my big bike, exploring the north since I'm still hurt from what happened on our anniversary. I didn't speak to F about the vacation, and when the day finally arrived, I simply told her that I wouldn't be coming home for 4 days. Don't wait for me. Then whenever I stop by a landmark, I take a picture with me and my bike and put it on Facebook. I'm not really the type of guy who spends a lot of time on social media. I rarely post anything. But since I was having a blast of a time, naturally I'll post these pictures. 4 days later, I came home around 9 p.m. and F isn't home. Oh, imagine that. She was probably thrilled you were gone because she can go hook up with whomever and not have to worry about coming home. I thought maybe she had to go home early, so I went to work without thinking much of it. Then I came home, played some video games, and around 8 or 9 p.m., F came home. I made a side comment saying, "Wow, what a surprise, you're earlier than usual." She just ignored me and goes to bed. Break up. Then December came, and in the second week of December, I got ticketed for beating the red light, running a red light. So like a normal citizen, I went to the city hall where she works to go pay my ticket. I was sitting there waiting for my name to be called when I saw F walking down the other hallway, holding the hands of another guy. There you go. I saw that coming a mile away, but you were 21, 22 at the time. You didn't know any better. Now you're going to break up with her? Don't worry, he will. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to tell them, but I had to wait for my name to be called. While waiting for my name to be called, I was surprisingly calm about it. Later that night, I wanted to confront her, but I concluded that since I didn't have any proof, she would just lie. Who cares? You saw her with your own 2 eyes, and combine that with her behavior and how she treats you, you have every reason to break up with her. At the end of the day, you could just left. I mean, you don't owe her anything. It's not like she's your fucking wife. So I called my boss and asked for an emergency day off tomorrow. F came home around 10 p.m. again and went straight to bed. I got to bed and stared at her sleeping face. I didn't feel anything for her anymore. No anger, no feeling of betrayal, no jealousy, no hate. Then I remember something in my psychology class in college saying the opposite of love is indifference. A lot of guys, when they find out their girl's cheating, they literally, like, all emotion dries up. Complete indifference. And yeah, the opposite of love is indifference. You don't give a shit either way. The next day, I acted like I was going to work, and then I asked my cousin to swap motorcycle with me for the whole day. Then I drove fast to the city hall, parked my cousin's bike, and waited far away from the entrance to the city hall. Minutes later, F got out of a Jeep, and that stopped in front of my city hall with the same guy I saw yesterday. They're holding hands, acting like a couple, staring both at them. I still didn't feel anything. Maybe all the love I had for her had dried up immediately. I took photos of them and entered in the visitor's office while I keep my eyes on them. While they were entering the employee's entrance, then I was in a certain area. I looked for them and spotted them just exiting a small hallway. I got my phone, videoed them from a distance, and then before they separated, they kissed each other again. That sucks, man. You know, it's like they were obviously been doing this for so long. Why don't you just break up with you? Well, we know why. Because she got pretty much a cheap living situation and all that. And things didn't work out with this guy, she could go back to you. I guess this guy's from a different department. When they separated, I got up, went back to my cousin's bike, went straight to my cousin's house to drop off the bike. And then I asked him if I could crash at his place. He said he'd ask his wife about it, so I waited outside for about 3 minutes, and later his wife came outside to greet me. She said she doesn't have a problem with me crashing at their place, but they don't have a spare bedroom anymore because her brother is sleeping in the living room. Well, everybody's crashing at your friend's house this week. I said I understood, and after I got my bike back, I called a coworker who also owns a room for rent business. I asked if I could rent a room today, and he said he'll contact his wife who manages their room for rent. 5 minutes later, my coworker's wife called me and got the go-ahead signal. Then I went straight to my apartment, talked to the landlord, and asked if I could cancel the contract. What did your landlord say? Can he contact his wife and ask her? Everybody else is contacting their wife to ask him permission. I talked to the landlord, blah, blah, blah. The landlord said he can't do that, and I explained my situation, but he's not budging. So I asked how many more months are left in my contract, and he says 4 months. So I said I'd pay the remaining 4 months in advance to get out of there. Even the 1 month advance policy is worth it. Then I said to the landlord, don't tell F about it, and he says he just wants the money, nothing more, nothing less. So you were willing to get out of there and pay 4 months worth of freaking rent just to get away from her. You could have, in my opinion, just said, hey, get your shit out of here. Go live with your lover, and, you know, but maybe their law is saying you can't do that. I don't know what. So he's getting a new place, and he's going to take off on her. After paying a huge sum of money, I then pack up my most important things, laptop, guitar, favorite pants and clothes, and my small aquarium. I asked my brother, who lives in a different city, if I could borrow his pickup truck, and he agrees. 45 minutes later, I'm packing up my things. My brother arrives, I explain the situation, and he helped me move my things. We put my motorcycle in the back of his truck, tied some rope to it, and wouldn't shake or wobble, put the remaining things in the passenger side, and gave the address to my brother. Then my brother left. Before I left my apartment, I went to a printing shop, printed their photos, left left it on the table of the living room, put a few coins on top of that so it wouldn't fly away, locked the door, and got in my car and left. So he left the pictures of her cheating on the freaking table and got out of there. I arrived at my coworker's room for rent place. His wife showed me the room and I unpacked my things. It was around 5 p.m. when I finished my room. I placed it on the futon on the floor, I lied down, opened my phone, and sent F's parents the video. Then I blocked F and all her family and friends in my social media and temporarily deactivated all of my social media accounts. I love it. You sent the proof to her parents. Then I crushed my old SIM card, threw it away, and bought a new one. Then I went to work the next day, and I was expecting her in the entrance, but F wasn't there. Well, remember, she obviously through her actions doesn't give a shit, and she was just using you. You know, maybe she liked you a lot at first, but then she met somebody, found your replacement. She was monkey branch, probably somebody that was older, better job, helped her probably get a promotion, whatever. Sorry it happened, but there you go. You should never have moved in with her at all. There's no reason to move in with a chick unless you're going to be that serious enough to marry her. It's like the final test. And even then, remember, they can put on a show. But the stereotype about the SEX slowing down and all that, that's typical. But in this case, she was hooking up with her coworker or boss or whatever. Afterwards, for the first week since I moved out of the apartment, I was always on edge. I didn't know when she would storm my office, but nothing happened in the first week. I thought that was it. Then the second week since moving out, before I entered the building, I saw F was waiting for me in the visitor's lounge. You can't think that she's not going to show up, probably either crying or yelling or something. I was panicking, thinking that she'll create a scene. So I went back, got to the fire exit, and then used the stairs there. When I arrived at the office, my boss said that someone was waiting for you downstairs. I asked my boss if I could lie to her and tell her that I didn't show up for work. My boss asked why. I never wanted to mention something about my private life to my boss because I wanted to be professional, but at that point I had to say it. So I explained the situation. I even called up a coworker who owns a room for rent business and said to my boss, I now live in their place. By the way, I never tell the coworker my situation, only my boss, because I didn't want gossip spreading in the office. Well, I guarantee gossip was spreading in the office. You've been better off just confronting her. You know, I mean, pretty much say, hey, don't come to my freaking place of business. We're done in a story. Nothing to talk about. Instead of run around and all that. But again, he was young. The day went by without any problems. After that day, I looked up for a new job outside my current city. I sent some resumes and waited for a reply. The next day, F wasn't there, so I went straight to my office. I thought the day would go smoothly, and then around 11 a.m. before the lunch break, the guard called the office. Someone was looking for me. It was F. I didn't know what to do. Tell them to tell her to fucking leave. I asked the guard to tell her I was absent. He understood. Then I hid in a cubicle in the men's bathroom. I waited there till lunch break was over. I never had lunch that day, but it was worth it. Dude, eat your freaking lunch. Don't hide like a chicken in the bathroom. After the lunch break, F also leaves the place. Guess she'll also sacrifice her lunch break to talk to me, but it ain't happening. Now remember, she can't contact him by phone or social media because he changed everything. I decided that I'll bring my lunch the next day. Lunch break comes, and there she is again. Well, she's persistent. I hid in the men's bathroom again and ate my food there. Smack. You're eating your lunch in the fucking bathroom where people are walking in and taking a dump and smelling shit while you're having your sandwich or whatever you eat over there. Come on, dude. I know you were a kid then, but good. Eat your stuff. Go out to the lobby. Say, don't come back here again. This is a place of business. Get the fuck out of here. We're done. And move on instead of all this nonsense. But I don't know. He was young. I go upstairs immediately, and then I was about to resume my duties. I got a message from one of the companies I applied for. They scheduled an appointment with me. It was next week after Christmas. So I quickly drafted a letter of resignation and gave it to my boss. Then after I got home, I browsed online looking for a new apartment near my workplace. New workplace. I got the one that I liked, talked to the landlord, and got a great deal. Then I asked my now former coworker if I could leave immediately. He says it's not fair since I signed a 6-month contract. So again, I said I'll pay the rest of my remaining 6 months. The only problem was transporting all my things. So again, you're paying more things to get away from her. I mean, it would have been much easier just to kick her out and stay there, and you know. But there's a lot of lessons in this story. One of them is unless she's like coming after you with a freaking weapon and the cops don't do anything about it. This is all unnecessary. But I do find it funny how he did clear everything out of the place and left her hanging, but still. This time, my brother is already on vacation with his family, so I rent a pickup truck, move all my things to a new place, and commute back to get my car and then get cozy in my new place. I spent that Christmas alone, then I got hired. New year came, 2017, new life, new city, never heard from F again. Just 2 months into 2017, I started dating again. Nothing serious, just testing the waters. But one thing is for sure, I don't want to get married, especially here. There's no divorce. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you, but good Lord, all the bullshit you went through to just get away from this chick, you know? And kind of surprised you were dating that quickly, but I'm glad you have the attitude about marriage. He says, anyway, that is my story. No drama, no revenge. I let karma handle it. I wasn't a savage like in the first story. That was the brief little story he wrote, but it wasn't that big a deal. I guess in the second story is really where I started to take relationship more seriously. Right now I still live alone, had 3 relationships after F. I broke up with them not because of them cheating, but because of their attitude problems. Well, their attitude problems was a precursor to cheating, no doubt. I don't have a girlfriend right now, but I do have an F buddy. She understands I'm not looking for a relationship, and ever since the pregnancy scare from F, I now always wear protection. Yes, always wear protection. For all you passport bros out there, just want to give you a heads up. If you're looking for a wife here, go to the provinces. Majority of the girls live in big cities like Manila, Cebu, Davao, etc. I can't pronounce these. They've already adapted to the hookup culture. Also, if you're planning on living here, rent a condo or apartment first. Don't buy a house or a piece of land immediately and then name it to your Filipino lover. I heard a story like that the foreigner didn't know that his Filipino lover was already married to a Filipino, and both the husband and the girl planned it all along. The foreigner ended up losing a large amount of the money, and the Filipina got a piece of the land for free. Be careful. Grass isn't always greener on the other side. Thank you, SSM, and God bless. So there you go, guys. It was a different story here, but the point is, this shit happens all over the world. And for you guys that think, oh, I'm going to Southeast Asia, or I'm going to the Philippines, or Eastern Europe to find a traditional girl, there'll be no problems like you have over here in the West. Well, newsflash, they're the same everywhere, so you must be careful. But entertaining story nevertheless, and I wish you the best, bro, but just be careful. No more freaking female roommates or girlfriend roommates. It was completely unnecessary, but you were a young guy. I get it. You were 21 years old. You didn't know any better. We all make mistakes, including me when I was younger, but don't. And in the future, to this dude, anybody else for that matter, if your girlfriend starts displaying behavior like that, the red flags are all there. She's cheating, and there's no point in staying in a relationship. You're not hooking up, and she's always gone all the time and all that. No. And you can see those red flags a mile away. But he's obviously older and wiser now, so good for him. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.